Hello everyone, welcome to Gardening by the Bay. I'm your host today, Mary Casement, and we're at the home of Jonathan Wilcox and Trevor Lord out here in Digdeguash. They're better known as Two Gays in the Garden, and we have an absolutely fabulous, amazing garden to show you, so please stay tuned. Today's a little different. We're gardening right beside the Digdeguash River, and we have Jonathan Wilcox here and Trevor Lord. And these two fellas have done a job that will astound you because, as Trevor was telling me, this gorgeous mountain of flowers and color that you see was actually just a bare-faced rock cliff not too long ago. Tell us about how you acquired this property, what it looked like, and the blood, sweat, and tears that you've put into it since acquiring it.
Well, this place here, when we bought it, it was a wooded lot. It had a beautiful stand of trees on here. We had spruce on here that was that big at the time. We bought it in 2017 and we moved in 2018. Dishers is the one that did all the work on it. We actually went and bought a chainsaw the day we bought the property, and I'm not very good at sawing trees and stuff down. And we just came in and just started falling them, and there was nothing but a mass of trees overlaying one another. When Dishers showed up, I just looked at him. I said, "I am so sorry." He said, "No." He said, "This is fantastic." He said, "We'll take care of this, no problem." But yeah, that all took place from October right straight through until February when we moved in.
So what was your original plan, Trevor, when you bought this huge property that was full of just rocks and trees? Did you envision this garden?
Well, the gardens was an afterthought. When we lived in Lake Utopia, we lived in a trailer park there, and Jonathan and I had met in 2015. And we wanted to spruce up the property a little bit, so we had a few perennials here and there. When we bought this place, we knew that those plants would be gone. So what we did is we dug them all up, and the lot beside this here, we'd bring them in the fall, and we just shoved them in the bank, just back and behind where the hydro pole is there. And we took all of our plants and just shoved them in there, butted them one against the other, covered them over with some leaves and stuff, and that's actually what we started with in the spring to get these gardens started. We actually did a small strip on this side, and the very top end of this main garden here, we did a small strip on that side, and that's actually what got us started here in gardening. So
you give us all great hope, Trevor. Even the most humble garden can turn into a magnificent arrangement.
It can, yeah.
So how on earth, where did you begin? How did you choose plants? Did you use the soil that was here? Let's start right at the beginning and tell us what you did.
This place here, when we started, the actual, from in front of the mini home, it was only there about 4 or 5 feet, and then it came off to a drop off.
And then this cliff with all the trees.
Straight down,
okay.
Yeah. So it was all cleared at this point. There was nothing but gravel from here on up, but there was no bank here or anything. It just went right straight in front of the mini home and then straight up. So what we did that winter, we had a really bad rain, and it just kept washing it away. So we knew we had to invest money in getting the bank filled. So we brought an outfit in. They did a lot of work. We asked for this type of formation on it, so that we knew we wanted to plant something here. We didn't know it was going to be all perennials. We were looking at shrubs and trees and that sort of thing. But we always wanted to have a beautiful view of the basin, so we didn't want anything that was too high.
Okay.
So shrubs was a big thing that we was really after. So when we started, like I said, we just took the flowers from the woods there, filled in a small spot here and a very small spot on the other end, and we had this massive piece in the middle that was just nothing but gravel. Out along here, the driveway used to go up and on the inside of the cedar. When they finished, the roadway dropped off and finished right here. Last spring, we had another group come in, and their job was to build us this section on this side and everything that once we'll see up top, all along the outside edge there as well. So we had that all done last year. So this garden over on this side was actually put in July of last year. So.
And so was this all topsoil that you had trucked in, or was there base gravel and mixture?
You do not know how lucky we were with this piece of property. When we bought it, we were worried that, because literally about a half an acre behind there, it is complete rock face. It's just a cliff. We were worried that as soon as we started here that we'd wind up with nothing but rock. And so when we put the mini home in, we had the excavators come in and start digging out behind, and we thought, well, we'll take what we can, and then when we have to, then we'll bring stuff in. Literally everything you see here came from this piece of property, with the exception of 2 loads of rock that are on that front face over on that edge. Everything came from here. We could not have been any luckier with a piece of proproperty.
That is amazing.
And we're not done.
We're not.
We're not even close to done. No, we have 3 more expansions that we're working on. One is going to cost a fair amount of money, but we can again pull the soil from out back. We're going to be bringing it in out here, put in another rock face along the front edge here that's going to probably go up about 12 to 16 feet. Lower terrace on that, another small rock face there. Yeah, we're not even close to done.
We've got some neat little paths and trailways up through here. Can you take me up a little bit and so we can get a closer look at some of the plants you've done?
We'll take a look what we've got up through here, and we're also going to be doing a bit of an expansion on this far side over here as well, so we can take a look at that and go over some of the ideas that we got in place for that as well, if you like.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Sounds excellent. Yeah.
I'm going to go cut some flowers and.
Right. I'll see you
Okay,
after.
we'll catch you later. Whoa, Trevor, this is rather steep. Are you going to be doing this into your 80s, my dear?
Well, actually, this place is we are working on it. I retire in 8 years, so this is going to be my hobby. So at 80, I'm assuming, I said to Jonathan, we're going to have little pole cords that just pull you up on a little cable.
Yes, with a little wheelchair,
yeah,
maybe a ski lift?
Yeah, maybe a ski lift.
A ski lift.
But we didn't expect, when we designed or built this, that we didn't expect that there'd be people coming through, and it was just sort of personal gardens, right?
Okay, let's stop right there, because you said that there would be people coming through.
Yes.
Why do you have people coming through? Tell us about your little business venture.
Well, a couple of years ago, when my mom wound up, she had a massive stroke. We had COVID going on. When she had her stroke, she wound up going into a nursing home. And we wanted to do a video of the flowers when they were in bloom that we could send in so that she could actually see them. But with COVID and everything going on, we couldn't even get in to see her. So what we did was we come up with this Facebook page called Two Gays in a Garden. And then we had, of course, our personal Facebook pages as well. So we did the videos up of the flowers, and we'd send them into so that my mom could see them. And then Jonathan had the idea, and I had the idea that we said, you know, it's not just our mom that's shut in. There's a lot of people that are shut in, not in nursing homes only, but also in their homes and stuff like that, that used to garden for years and that. So they don't get the opportunity anymore. So we sort of we set it up so that they could sort of live their gardens through our gardens.
Live vicariously.
Yes.
Excellent plan.
Then as it grew, people would be driving by and taking lots of photos, and we love that. It really shows us appreciation of the work that we have done here. So when people drive by and you see us out, please don't panic. You're more than welcome to take photos and stuff like that. And then afterwards, people started saying, can I come see your gardens? And then there was garden tours that wanted to see the gardens. So that's why we have to make sure that when people come through that they realize that this garden here is the biggest one, and it is very steep. It was not designed for just the average Joe to go through.
Okay.
It was what we had to work with at the time. And it's just exploded since then.
It certainly has.
Yeah.
I can't believe 5-6 years and these plants are at tremendous size.
Yes.
You've got a wonderful baptisia, a false indigo up here.
Yep.
Is that a blue one?
That is the blue, yeah. There's several different types of the baptisia. We actually have it in the black and yellow, we have it in the solid yellow, we have it in blue, purple, and we have it in the pink now as well.
Wow.
So we have them spaced out different areas of our gardens. Bees and butterflies love those.
Yes, they
and
do.
I think this garden has a lot of stuff in it, like the swamp grass and stuff. Swampweed is really good for the monarch butterflies. So
Right.
we try to grow as many of those as we can.
Okay.
But they devour the plants.
Yes, that's their only
A
food.
small price to
Yeah.
pay to get them back, right?
That's
So,
right,
yeah.
exactly.
But yeah,
And you've got some lovely assortment of daylilies.
we have approximately 50 different types of daylilies in the gardens now. There's a lot of them. July is the big boom for the daylilies for us. But we will get these sporadic from now right straight through till October. So
Okay,
Yep.
and I'm sure the question on many viewers' minds is they're in blazing sun, and here are all these hostas. You've got, what, half a dozen or more different types of hostas out in the flaming sun.
yes, John and I were never really good at reading. Well, both of us have to wear glasses now, so when we go to greenhouses, we just don't bother with the glasses because it's not going to matter. So if it says full sun, part shade, full shade or whatever, we usually bring it home. When we first started, we'd bring it home, slap it in the ground. If it grew, then fine. If it didn't, we were just assumed that it was a bad plant, But these here, for some reason, and Astilbes is another one. A lot of people say they're a shade plant, but we've got them right out in full sun all day long.
Yeah.
We've got a hedge over here of 54 of them. They get sun all day long, and
Wow.
they grow very well for us.
Yeah, these guys are doing great.
Yeah. They're a beautiful plant. So
And your soil base, as you said, you had to import a lot. So you've got it covered with mulch, but what is your core soil base? Is this soil that you've imported, or?
this whole bed here, right straight up along right straight to the far end, is all original. So it's a lot of clay that's in here,
Okay.
and it was just the soil that they brought from the back of the property
To the
and
front.
filled it in.
Okay.
We didn't add anything other than we've done 2 different types of fertilizers in here, one for greenery, and we've done one for bloom. And we just do that, and we did the one for the greenery last year. This year we just put on the one just to help the plants grow, and they seem to do very well with it. But the first year when we did this, we did not have any mulch on any of this property, and the weeds, oh my gosh, every other day we were out here. And of course the whole center section had nothing in it the first year.
Okay.
So that was just nothing but weeds. But once we started putting the mulch on, and a lot of people say, how do you ever keep it wet? For us, the spring of the year and the fall of the year are the 2 busiest times for us. During the summer, we just go through every once in a while and just sort of pick through it, and you may get one small bucket out of it for weeds, versus we used to have like 3 or 4 big buckets there at one point there years ago. So
And it's primarily because of the mulch.
it is definitely because of the mulch.
Do you work a lot of compost into your plants?
All of the stuff that we cut off, we have an area over on the far side that when they did the land work sort of has a little enclave in it. So what we're doing is taking everything from here and all of our cuttings and stuff, taking it over there, filling it in any hole that we find. That's what we do with all of ours. So we don't
Okay.
compost and put back into the soil. We just put it over the bank so we can extend the bank.
Okay.
So yep, we need more planting
Because you
space.
need, I was going to say, because you're short of planting space. And behind us we have, well, if you don't mind moving a bit.
Nope, I'm good here.
We've
yeah.
got some great ground covers here too as well. Can you tell us about these?
Yeah, the ground cover, as far as names goes, I am not familiar with those. All we did with these is we wanted something, so our original was we wanted the view of the basin, so we didn't want to
Okay.
get trees in here that was going to get too tall on us. So what we did is we got a bunch of small shrubs and stuff, brought them in, and that's what we actually filled the center section in with at the beginning.
Okay.
And then we just sort of built around it. Like we got the rhododendrons in here, we've got a lot of shrubberies that are in here, and then we just put a lot of hostas, and we did a lot of daylilies, and then we just started buying the specialty flowers afterwards to see if we could actually carry them over. Like
Okay.
Nephophia is probably one of our favorites. So
And that's
yeah.
an interesting one.
It is,
Not everybody grows that. What prompted you to try that?
because we hadn't seen much of it.
Okay.
So we are at the point now where we've got between 1,400 and 1,600 perennials here on the property alone. Not all different types, but there's a lot of colors, a lot of different strains and stuff. So we're now getting into the ones that are tricky to grow.
Okay.
And we've had successes and we've had complete failures with them. One of the failures was the butterfly bush. We've bought 3 of those. 2 of them down in this bed, both of those died, but the one up here that we thought wouldn't make it actually grew very well, and it's doing fantastic up there now. Nephophia is another one. We bought 7 plants the first year, and I think 2 or 3 came back, but they didn't come back really, really well.
Okay.
But they did come back, so that sort of gave us a bit of hope. And being new at gardening, I really messed up. The first fall, I knew it was going to be a tricky plant, so I built this round case around it, filled it full of leaves and stuff. And of course, over the winter, we ended up getting rain and stuff like that in there, and it just became a solid ice block. So I killed it myself.
Yeah, you turned it into an ice cube.
But it's always trial and error in any garden. It really is.
That's
so,
for
yeah,
sure.
we are not pros at this. We're
Absolutely.
just very lucky at it. So.
Well,
Yeah.
most of us would give our hearts to be this, even half this lucky. It's outstanding. And your rhododendrons, what type is this one? Do you happen to remember, or?
I call it a pink one.
A pink one? Okay. All right.
We have pink, red, and purple in our gardens right now. As far as names go, we've got so many plants in here to actually get down to what type of
And
color of
tagging
strain
them,
it is.
yeah.
It would be unreal.
Yeah.
It'd be very difficult for us to do that, and I don't have the mind for it. If I don't know what it's called, I just call it pretty flower.
Okay.
There's a couple of those in the gardens.
Have you had situations where you've had to or chose to move a plant, like if it's been established there, but for some reason you're not happy? Have you tried moving things?
Definitely, yeah. When we do our gardens, when we put the things in, sometimes it comes to a point where we've bought too much at one of the greenhouses, and we're like, we got to get it in the ground because it's not going to stay in that pot forever. We'll just find a spot and stick it in the ground, knowing that it's not going to stay there. It's just an
Okay.
empty hole that we've got, or it could be a plant that actually died over the winter. We need to fill in a new spot, and what we do is, as the season progresses, if we see like we got a lot of yellow in one area, we'll try to move things around so we don't have so much yellow, and put it at like a reds and the purples and stuff like that
Okay.
in there. So we've been 5 years in with these gardens, and we're still moving plants around because we've got too many of this color and not enough of that color, or this is blossoming now, and then we have a big lull of a month or a month and a half before we see blossom again on a different type of a plant.
Okay.
So now it's trying to get the continuous bloom that we're working on.
All
so,
right.
but-
Have you noticed any particular weather problems with being so close to the river? Do you have strong winds, or?
Yeah, down in this area, the north, of course, is coming from that side over here. So we figured most of the stuff that we planted in the lower bed was going to be a lot more difficult to hold over, but we actually were very lucky. Most of the stuff down there did carry through the winters. But we're pretty much, these beds here, they're pretty well, they've got a lot of cover. Like there's a lot of green trees and stuff around and stuff like that. So we don't deal with too much wind coming off the water here.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So one of my questions would be, you've talked about some of the issues you've dealt with, but with this many hostas, just so many plants in general, have you ever had a deer issue?
My nemesis, the deer. All right, so we do a spray program for our place here called Bobex. Some people say it works, some people say it does not work. I cannot say enough about it. 3 years ago, the deer came in here and just cleaned us right out. Like the hostas were down to about that far off the ground. We had orientals, we had daylilies and stuff all ready to bloom, chewed the tops right off of them all, and destroyed, of course, the gardens at that point. So the war was on. So the following year, what we did is we went online and looked, and Bobex is one of the types of
Yes.
deterrents that we
Deer
can use,
repellents,
right?
Yes.
And the first year, you know how big these gardens are, we would spray it like we were hard on it. And if it showered out at night, we were up the next day and sprayed and sprayed and sprayed. And that year, we had no deer get into our gardens. They never even bothered coming through to taste anything. And since then, we still use Bobex, but what we do know is the deer's like this and they don't like that. So we've been able to cut back on our usage of the Bobex, because when you put that on, it stinks for like a whole day, like it's
Yes,
strong.
yes.
There's not a perfume out there strong enough to cover it. So we use it sparingly now, and especially if we know if we've got the daylilies that are getting ready to bloom, we will spray every one of them just to make sure that we're good.
Okay.
Hostas the same way. If we've got garden tours going through, we still spray it to make sure we're good, to make sure that they're going to make it through. Someday the deer will come back and they will be a nuisance to us, but we do have some deterrents that we're able to use on them. So Bobex, I swear by it,
Swear
folks.
by it, okay. And it hasn't affected your soil or anything?
No, it hasn't affected it at all. Like I said, it's the smell's there for a day or two at the most, gone after that. I don't think there's really a whole lot in it. It's mainly the stink and the
Yes.
taste that it does to
Yes.
the flowers.
Yeah.
That's what deters the deer and stuff from eating it. So it's not a lot of harsh chemicals and stuff in it. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good product, and it hasn't hurt anything that we've grown.
Well, this is fabulous here, but I see some eye-catching red hibiscus over there. Can we head over and check out some of those garden beds?
Most definitely. That's one of our newer gardens that was just put in July of last year. So yeah, it's got some really cool stuff.
Okay, lead the way, sir. Next time on Gardening by the Bay, we'll continue our tour of Trevor and Jonathan's amazing garden. But before we go, we also had a chance to visit the home of Mike and Joanne Power recently and take a look at their garden. Hi, Joanne. How are you today?
Fine, thanks, Mary.
Great. Thank you so much for letting us have this wonderful tour. Your garden is stunning, absolutely stunning.
Thank you very much.
I've seen it before, but you've made some dramatic changes to it.
A little bit every year.
A little bit. Let's go. Let's head this way. There's some
Okay.
great flowers over there. Whoa, I love this gorgeous sea holly that you've got. Look at how tall it is. How old would that be?
Oh, I don't know. It's about 5 or 6 years old. There aren't many blue flowers, so I really like that one.
Yeah, and actually the stems have that blue cast to them as well. That's great. And you've got a beautiful lily of some type just budding out here.
yeah.
But what's really striking is this gorgeous lily. It's quite stunning with that dark center and the beautiful white edges to it. And stunning, these are Shasta daisies?
Those are Shasta daisies, and
Okay.
those are crazy daisies.
Oh, aren't they fun? They're all frilly and
Yep.
fringy.
Yep.
Oh, that is absolutely
A little
great.
bit different.
I used to have Shasta daisies, but the deer ate them. And, oh, what's this burgundy kind of bush here in the back? A little bit
That
of
is
hedge
a
to it, color
rose
to
glow barberry.
it. Okay, excellent. Lovely. Is this a magnolia tree that I see?
Yeah, it's an Ann magnolia.
I see little
Blooms
buds in
in
there.
Yeah, blooms in the spring. Pink flowers.
Pink flowers,
It's
yeah.
just covered.
It's a huge size, but it makes a beautiful backdrop for all the lovely other colors in your garden. And you're certainly keeping the birds and the bees happy with a drink of water now and then. My peonies are all done. These
This
are
is
just
the last
tail
one,
end,
just
but they're
hanging
looking
there.
great. And look over here at this stunning pink lily. What a gorgeous, rich color. You've got a few of them in bloom there. What is this? This is fabulous.
It's a weeping mulberry, fruitless, so it doesn't drop any fruit and make a mess. But
So is it a tree rather than a vine?
it's a tree.
A
Yep.
tree. Fabulous, great. And gorgeous, gorgeous irises. So many of them. Look at this beautiful, delicate lavender on this one. And your water pond. Can't wait to get over there. Look at the frills and the beautiful edgings. Beautiful. Do you know look at this. These are fabulous. What is this great little crisscross arrangement you have
That's
here?
something I rigged up just to help it withstand the rain and the wind, because they're kind of top heavy and they'll fall over.
That's right, and the stems are a bit brittle and they can snap easily. That's a great little system. Make note of that, friends.
These are all Japanese iris.
Japanese iris, all right, including the white ones behind
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Okay. My soul, these are fabulous. Look at these. They're coming right up to greet us.
Yeah, they're pretty friendly. They know when they're going to get fed.
And what do you feed them?
Oh, just floating fish food, so they
Okay.
can eat off the surface.
Okay. And they're just regular goldfish?
Yeah, yeah. And they stay in the pond all winter and do just fine.
How deep is your pond, roughly?
It's about 3 feet
Oh,
in the deepest part.
Okay, great. And you've got a stunning heron there, but the heron hasn't bothered the fish, of course.
No. That's a good heron.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful in your gazebo. And what is the deep burgundy leaf there, that tree?
That's a bloodgood Japanese maple.
Okay. It's a delicate leaf, but not as delicate as the ones that are more common, the
No.
lace one. Yeah. Tell me about this gorgeous lacy little shrub you have here.
That's another Japanese maple, and it's a
Really?
waterfall type.
Isn't it pretty? And does it turn color in the fall?
Yeah, nice orangey and red, and it's really really pretty in the fall.
Does it lose its leaves?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like
Yeah,
normal deciduous maple. Okay. Green mist. I see the tag right
Yeah.
here. Fabulous. And look at these daylilies. What is this gorgeous one called?
Oh, big smile.
Big. Well, then let's oblige. That is really pretty. So big and open, and the purple mint really, catmint really sets it off.
Yeah.
And what's the? Oh, is that a?
That's a sedum.
A sedum,
Yeah.
but I've never seen one with such big leaves. That's really neat. And beautiful little delicate yellow coreopsis there with that sweet little thread. I think it's called threadleaf coreopsis, isn't it? Yeah.
And it blooms pretty well from
Most-
now till the end of the summer.
Yeah. They are great for that. I can't thank you enough. This has just been delightful. Your garden is magnificent,
Oh,
Joanne.
Thank you for coming. I really enjoyed it, and
Good.
look forward to seeing you again.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you for watching, folks. I'm Mary Casement, and this is Gardening by the Bay.